Oddity is an Irish horror film directed by Damien McCarthy, whose previous film Caveat was a low-budget critical darling. The story starts with a woman named Danny who's renovating a countryside estate by herself while her husband Ted is stuck at work. He's a psychiatrist who works with mentally ill patients. When evening hits, Danny finds a strange man named Olin at her door, claiming that he saw a man enter her house and that she needs to let him in so he can help her out. Olin tells Danny to leave or call the police, anything but stay in the house. Danny realizes that Olin is one of Ted's patients and is hesitant to let him in, but is also very concerned to stay in the house if he's being truthful. We don't see Danny's decision, but then we fast forward a year. We find out that Danny was brutally murdered by Olin. Ted visits Darcy, Danny's blind twin sister, who has this shop where she sells haunted items. We find out that Ted has moved on and has a girlfriend, but Darcy hasn't moved on, and she's still dealing with her sister's death. Eventually, Darcy shows up at Ted's home unexpectedly after a box is delivered containing a full-size wooden man, and over the course of the night, Darcy starts unraveling the circumstances of her sister's death. This is a super cool film that made me legitimately jump multiple times. Darcy is such an unusual, odd character, you just want to watch and see what she's going to do. I always say that one of the most effective ways to engender fear for a character is to give them some sort of disability, such as her blindness, to make the audience fear for her safety and keep them on their toes, as to how is she going to get out of this situation. We know she has some sort of psychic powers, and that wooden man is sitting there for a reason, but we don't know how it will play out. Is Danny a ghost haunting the house? Is there something else more nefarious at play? Does Darcy have this all planned out? Is that why she sent Ted the wooden man, or is she looking for answers as well? The Darcy character-driven stuff is really good in this film, and the sort of drive for her to find out what actually happened to her sister is really, really compelling. Now, the main problem with the film is that it becomes very obvious to the viewer what actually has happened. Now, I won't spoil it in case you are a viewer who doesn't see that kind of stuff, but when certain characters appear on screen, I was like, all right, I know what the real story is here. It didn't bother me too much because, again, the film has all the supernatural stuff that keeps you engaged, but the overarching question of, quote, what happened to Danny, unquote, is pretty tropey. But this is a really good little film. The cinematography looks great, as are the performances. A couple of things occur in this film that I didn't expect, not in terms of the story, but in terms of what happens to certain characters. I thought was really kind of cool. I dug this one. It was a fun watch. It made me jump a few times, and I'm excited to check out the next thing Damien McCarthy does. I give this a B.